Hello， 大家，最近很多人好奇。
Hello. Many people have been curious recently about how the US tariffs will affect our clothing factories. I can only say the impact is much bigger than you can imagine. This isn't a surprise attack. The US tariffs on Chinese clothing have been steadily increasing in rounds. The first time they raised it by 10%, customers immediately started pushing for lower prices, asking if we could make it cheaper. Our profit margins are already below 10% and we are selling at rock bottom prices, yet we still have to hold on. There's no choice. We don't want to lose customers and we don't want our workers to be out of a job. The second time they raised it by another 10% and the customers said, let's split this cost down the middle. As manufacturers, we could only smile bitterly. Our industry already faces high raw material, labour and logistic costs, and the profit margins are razor thin. It feels like we are dancing on the edge of a knife. How can we bear this? The third time, the tariff went up to 34% and no one said anything. The customers didn't speak and neither did we. The orders just disappeared. Some customers we've worked with for 7 or 8 years just stopped contacting us. It's heartbreaking, isn't it? This is the reality. Now they are raising the tariffs by another 50%. We are no longer surprised. By May, the US plans to end the exemption for packages under $100 from China and Hong Kong. For factories like ours that deal with both foreign trade and domestic sales, it's just adding insult to injury.
On April 14th, Lu Daliang, the spokesperson for the General Administration of Customs, acknowledged at a press conference in Beijing that China's exports are indeed facing a complex and severe external situation. However, he insisted that the sky is not falling. Despite this, foreign trade workers are expressing their distress, saying, the sky has already fallen. Under the pressure of a new round of US-China tariff wars, it seems everyone has come to realize that a true crisis is on the horizon. At the General Administration of Customs press conference, the spokesperson emphasized that the sky isn't falling, thanks to our vast domestic market as a foundation. The shift from exports to domestic focus is clear. Over the past year or two, intense competition, price wars, and struggles have overwhelmed industries in the domestic market. Business owners understand that redirecting foreign trade to domestic sales could worsen this competition. If companies engage in profitless price wars, layoffs or bankruptcies will follow. Consumer spending hinges on boosting the income of the general public. People spend when they have money, yet the rapid real estate downturn has shrunk wealth for many, especially those who bought homes at peak prices, only to face debt and unemployment. Combined with a large low-income population, these groups form a significant portion of society. Only by addressing income growth for these people can we expand domestic demand. Otherwise, price wars will drive bankruptcies, layoffs, and a downward economic spiral. After the continued escalation of the US-China tariff war, several foreign trade factories in Guangdong, Jiangsu, and other regions in China have suspended production and laid off workers. Orders have sharply decreased and unemployment is spreading. A corporate financial advisor in Shenzhen said, You might not believe it, but many Shenzhen factories are struggling and will soon close one after another. Why? High rent, overcapacity, and declining foreign trade orders are crushing them. With rising tariffs and fierce market competition, price wars have slashed profits to nearly nothing. Many factories have relocated to Southeast Asia, leaving behind mostly older workers born in the 70s and 80s. Do you think Shenzhen factories have a future? Unemployment has made the situation even more suffocating. One blogger candidly said that after waking up, they felt like the sky was about to fall.
完蛋了，完蛋了.
Life for ordinary people is getting tougher. The US has blocked China's exports, leaving little hope for foreign trade. Most foreign trade companies, 99%, face collapse, and workers in these industries are losing jobs. Many people have spent their savings on homes, carrying decades-long mortgages, and now risk unemployment. After years of a certain lifestyle, losing income suddenly makes it impossible to maintain that standard. This crisis will overwhelm many, and it's a tough situation to resolve. This is April 14th in Guangzhou. It's been a tough year. Many factories have no orders, and people in the US are still unaware of what's happening. Even the bosses with SUVs are struggling with no way out. On April 13th, a blogger from Guangdong posted a video saying that, with the onset of the US-China trade war, factories in Guangdong were on the brink of closure overnight. Many factories have begun laying off employees, and over 12 million soon-to-graduate university students are finding it hard to find work. On April 12th, a blogger in Ningbo posted a video saying that some workers are waiting to return to their hometowns. The blogger explained that due to the sharp increase in U.S. tariffs, foreign trade orders have been canceled and production has been halted, forcing workers to take unpaid leave and go home. Working this year has been extremely difficult. Another blogger posted a video lamenting that the smoke from the tariff war has reached their factory, which produces children's products for export to the U.S. Now, the factory has come to a complete standstill, and workers can only stay at home, waiting for further instructions. In a bid to survive, some foreign trade factories have started to lower workers' wages.
兄弟们，一觉醒来，天都塌了。
Brothers, the sky's falling. Daguang Optoelectronics set the daily wage at 200 yuan for 12-hour shifts. Calculate it. Your youth is worth pennies per hour. Worse, they deduct 300 yuan monthly for dorms, dropping your wage to 190 yuan a day. Add water, electricity, and social security deductions, and you're left with 180 yuan daily. Don't chase foreign trade jobs. Factories handling those orders have cut production lines and have no work. The market is collapsing, brothers. On April 11th, the Chinese Communist Party announced a 125% tariff on U.S. goods in response to a 145% tariff imposed by the U.S. The official statement indicated that U.S. goods are no longer viable in the Chinese market, and China will not follow suit if the U.S. further increases tariffs. The tariffs have significantly affected China's shipping industry. According to a Caixin report on April 10th, the day after the U.S. implemented its 125% tariff, Shanghai's port operations nearly halted. In the days before the tariffs took effect, approximately half the ships in Yangshan Port and Waigaoqiao Terminal sailed to the U.S. to avoid the tariffs. Currently, many shipments remain at the docks, with exporters canceling orders or seeking alternative routes. In the manufacturing sector, some PC manufacturers have halted shipments from inland China to the U.S. Foxconn has stopped exports from its Chengdu plant, which assembles Apple Mac computers and iPads. Approximately 30 to 40% of the plant's production was intended for the U.S. market, and overtime hours have been reduced by 60%. Similarly, Quanta, a contract manufacturer in Chongqing, has suspended exports to North America. An executive stated, the suspension is expected to continue for an extended period, and some production lines have closed, resulting in reduced staffing. Hong Kong media reports that the volume of containers shipped to the U.S. decreased by over 90% within a single day. In 6 months, the consequences may escalate, potentially resulting in a de facto trade embargo. According to the South China Morning Post, an employee from a listed export company in China revealed that after the U.S. imposed a 145% tariff on Chinese imports, the number of containers shipped to the U.S. drastically decreased from 40 to 50 containers per day to just 3 to 6, a 94% drop. The company has also suspended shipping plans from the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaysia, and all factory orders have been halted. Another employee revealed, any goods that haven't been loaded onto ships will be scrapped, and goods already at sea will be revalued. Industry insiders stated that Chinese exporters and manufacturers face a severe situation. With U.S. orders nearly halted, many factories have accumulated unsold inventory, some have ceased production, and workers have been laid off. Manufacturing workers, e-commerce sellers, and small trade companies are most affected, with the textile industry experiencing the greatest losses. An insider reported that Shaoxing in Zhejiang province, China's largest textile production base, holds an inventory of 3.5 billion meters of fabric. The current situation is described as follows. Operating machines incur losses, stopping them leads to stagnation, and selling products results in a financial loss. However, data from China's General Administration of Customs on April 14th showed a 12.4% year-on-year export increase, totaling $310 billion in March, a 10.1 percentage point rise from January to February. First quarter exports reached $850 billion, up 5.8%, with a trade surplus of $273 billion. Hong Kong media quoted Xu Tianchen, a senior analyst at the Economist Intelligence Unit, stating that March's strong export performance resulted from companies accelerating shipments before tariff increases. These companies can absorb a 20% fentanyl tariff and reroute products through Southeast Asia to avoid tariffs. Wang Qing, chief macro analyst at Golden Credit Rating, told Jiamian News that April exports are expected to decline significantly due to new tariffs. Commentator Li Yinyi noted that the March export surge from rush shipments is temporary and China's foreign trade is nearing collapse. On April 12th, the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs posted a video on its official Weibo account with Chinese and English narrations. The video criticized the U.S. for initiating tariffs that affect global trade. It stated, "With China's presence, stability is maintained," highlighting China's 5% economic growth rate and large, skilled workforce. It emphasized that China's development stems from self-reliance and hard work, not external support. However, a social media user commented, "The Chinese people are suffering too much." The CCP has since disabled the comments section, but many Chinese netizens on X have posted remarks. If the sky falls, the people will bear the weight, so the leaders can continue their grandiose speeches. Why not offer subsidies to the affected businesses and workers? What's the point of just shouting slogans? The sky falls, and the billions of leaks are bearing the weight. Who can endure the suffering more than the Chinese? On one hand, they say the export situation is complex and severe, but on the other hand, they claim that the first quarter's exports increased by 5%. Which one is true? Some have sarcastically commented, "What does it matter if a few million or tens of millions of people starve? In the end, victory is still ours." However, Chinese scholar Peng Hongwen told Radio Free Asia that the U.S.-China tariff conflict may persist. He noted that U.S. leadership has expressed reluctance to negotiate tariff reductions, and China has stated it will not engage in talks unless U.S. tariffs are lowered. Peng believes the tariff dispute could escalate into a broader economic conflict, potentially involving financial measures. Even if minor technical agreements are reached, the economic tensions between the U.S. and China are unlikely to cease. Recently, Chinese authorities have encouraged households to increase spending to offset export losses through domestic consumption. However, as China's economy weakens and citizens face increasing financial strain, their purchasing power continues to decline. Many Chinese citizens express concern that weak domestic demand cannot sustain the economy. If the tariff conflict persists, widespread unemployment may emerge and Chinese manufacturing could falter. Financial blogger Feng Jie stated in a recent video that many struggle to afford basic necessities, and redirecting exports to domestic markets offers little practical relief.
出口转内销这事儿靠谱吗？我先来说结论。
Is shifting from exports to domestic sales viable? In short, no. Here's why. First, foreign trade products lack price competitiveness. Why do these companies sell abroad instead of domestically? Even at double the domestic price, their goods are still affordable overseas. But on platforms like Pinduoduo, they'd be outpriced instantly. Domestic prices already rock bottom. In Hebei, merchants joke they only need to earn slightly more than farmers, who make a few thousand yuan yearly. Earning 100,000 to 200,000 yuan annually is enough for them, but this ultra-low margin strategy leaves no room for foreign trade businesses. Second, foreign trade products lack brand recognition. Some argue these goods have superior quality, but quality alone doesn't drive sales without a price or brand advantage. Few foreign trade companies have real brand power. Third, some foreign trade products have no domestic demand. Many produce goods for foreign markets, like pool cleaning robots for upper-middle-class Western families with outdoor pools. In China, even wealthy families rarely have villas with pools, so there's little need for these products. How can these companies sell them here? The tariff conflict has led to a widely recognized economic crisis in China. Many outside the political system observe that, under external pressure, the Chinese Communist Party prioritizes its authority over public welfare. The party's bureaucratic structure is seen as a significant obstacle, maintaining strict control and resisting decentralization or sharing resources with citizens. Public discontent is growing on social media. Some individuals online state that China faces a critical juncture and, without establishing a democratic system, risks a trajectory similar to North Korea.